Hello and welcome again. In our last tutorial, we were working with tables, and we'll continue to do that in this tutorial as well. So in this tutorial, we will now going to look into some of the other HTML properties, such as row span and col span. What col span allows us to do, if you would like a cell or a box, like TD or TH, to span more than one columns, we use a property called col span. Spanning means occupying. If you would like your cell to occupy more than one rows, then you use row span. If you would like your cell to occupy more than one row and also more than one column, then you will use a combination of row span and col span. So for now, I would like to give a heading cell to this table by introducing another row. And I would like to give only one cell in this row. And I would like to call this cell, like in this cell, I would like to type personal contact information. Now notice how it appears in the absence of the col span, because I would like to span all three columns and give one centralized heading. So this is how it was appearing before. And this is how it appears now. Notice only the first name has been stretched. And look at how the last name and city have this blank space right above them. In order to fix this problem, we would like to go back to our code. And in the line of TD, we can say col span equals to 3. So I would like you to span 3 columns. So now let's go back to this code and let's refresh. And here you can see it is spanning all 3 columns. Now I purposely used TD, not TH, because now I wanted to also introduce some CSS. But before we do that, we're also going to learn a little bit about a row span. Now what I want to do now is I would like on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side, both sides, I would like to have something that runs from top to the bottom, spanning all 4 rows. Okay, extremely important to understand. Okay, I would like each one of my rows to have one extra cell. That means now instead of 3 columns, I will have 4 columns if I only fill the first column all the way through from top to the bottom in one solid color, and I would like it to span all 4 rows. Similarly, if I want to add another column on the right hand side, which will do the same, fill up all 4 rows and spans from first row through the last row, but in the same column, that means I need another column over there. So then my table will gonna grow to the size of 5 columns. So now let's see how we will going to do that. First of all, you need to figure out from where would you like the spanning to start. Since I would like my spanning to start, one from the left of the personal contact information and one from the right of the personal contact information, so my starting point is the first row. So that's extremely important to identify that. So now I am back in my code. And I would like to introduce a TD right above the existing TD in the first row because I would like my spanning to start from there. Similarly, I need another column on to the right of my personal contact information that's going to span all the way from top to the bottom. So it'll be the exact same code I'm going to write up here and I'm going to type down here. But I can easily copy and paste it once I complete my first row. So we're going to start from the top row. So we'll say TD. And I would like this TD to now do a row span. And since I have 4 rows, I would like it to row span 4 rows. And I'm not interested in displaying anything in it at this point in time. I want to show you how the output will going to look like in case you do not want to show anything. And when it is blank, notice how it appears over here. It appears just like an empty box. However, you have a lot of things that you can do with this empty box. This is how it was before, and this is how it looks now. Now notice this empty box right on to the left. Now we're going to go back to the editor, and we would now like to add a space through an NBSP. Now if I come back, that looks a little different. Now notice, it actually shows as if it holds contents. So it's extremely important that if you're leaving it blank, once again, we're talking about pure HTML, the tables look and feel without CSS, this is what you can do to add something as a content. Now, we would like to go back here to the page, and we would now like to copy this and code and paste it underneath right over here. Okay, and I would like to come back and refresh, and now you can see there has been another column added to the right. So I have a column on the left and I have a column on the right, and notice they're all sharing that space from 400 pixels. That's why you would have noticed the table has not stretched out. The table stays within the 400 pixels. The inner columns are now sharing some space with the outer columns. Also, using HTML, I can add background colors to certain cells in my table. And in order to do that, we use a property called BG color. So if I can BG color equals to, if I'm working at the row level, let me first show you. BG color equals to light blue. That's at the row level. And I'm back to my page. And here you can see anything that is in the first row only has that as its background. Okay. Similarly, if you would like to give a background color to the other rows, so if I go now to the table level and I say, well, at the table level, I would like to use a background color. And then back to the Firefox. And here you can see, I know it's not a very great color. I should rather use a little lighter shade of it. But just to show you, I used a very dark color so that you can see the contrast and you can see it a little bit more evidently. So now it shows you that if you apply something at the table level, that is of the second precedence. Something that is applied at the row level is the first precedence, and something that is even applied at the cell level has even more precedence. So since the first row has a different background color, so it superseded the background color of the table. So that's how you can be controlling the background color at different levels. Okay. So now I have changed the color for the table to a combination of red, green, and blue. Blue being holding the highest weight, and green all holding the second highest, and red holding the third highest, both for lines 9 and 10. As a result, now I can see an output like this, where I can see my text in the first row. I mean, like the background in the first row to be in a little bit of a darker blue as compared to the background for the rest of the table. Now, one more thing that I would like to introduce as the last thing in this tutorial is how you can go about changing the alignment of the text using HTML. So in HTML, we have a property called align. So if you use the align property equals to center in the line where it reads personal contact information, and then I come and refresh this page, then it will going to put that right in the center of that particular cell. So that's how you can be using the align property. Once again, we can create a much better design using CSS. And as I introduce CSS in the coming tutorials, then you can see how it can enhance tables as well. And just like you can change the alignment of the text in a cell, similarly you can change the alignment of the entire table by setting the align property to a value of center. So I made my tables where I have the property border with BG color. I also made another adjustment to my table by changing the alignment of the table itself to the center. So as a result, what happens is that my table will now going to move in the center of the page. So these are some of the properties HTML holds for table. There are so many others that we will going to explore with time, but that's all for now for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching it.